What's up, everybody? I want to start off, quick and just saying that I thought the weekend went off, a lot better than or I'm sure a lot of people, wanted to give it credit for the whole time they talked about it. Racing wise, we got to see some, good racing, but we didn't get to see a lot of it because of, rain and all of that. The city was as expected for me. Again, it was their policies and stuff, not like the crime part, but just, hours and being able to do things if something happened, I just don't think it opened up a lot of opportunities, to get a lot done. The weather sucked. And again, the scheduling really didn't help them played a giant role in it. No matter who's making that decision, someone needs to be fired because that was that was beyond atrocious. But again, I thought, the racing, actually did some things. We got to see some good stuff out of it. The Xfinity Series, the Loop 121. Cole Custer won the pole, went on to win stage one and the race. Again, lightning delay. Shocker. And then never got to restart. Chicago called it because of their policies. Didn't get to do it the next day because it was just torrentially downpouring and all that standing water. So they just had to call it. Didn't make it to the end of stage two or halfway or anything. I don't pay attention to that rule. I just think starting them as late as they did, no matter who's making that decision, and would it have made a difference because of the rain? No. But, still scheduling it that late pretty much guarantees that if one thing goes wrong, you're screwed. And I don't know why we have to keep, going over this, whether it's, the ARC series getting cut off at, both Talladega and Pocono last year because of darkness and stuff, because they scheduled a race for ARCA to start at Pocono with, 2 or 3 race breaks. How long it takes to get around there for like 6:30 at night. And then they were surprised that it was dark and they had to call it because they couldn't finish it because, who the schedules these things. It's been an ongoing problem. It looked really, atrocious. And again, not putting anything on the teams or drivers, it's sanctioning body, the city, the broadcast network, whatever it was, they didn't help. But only got to see, what, 25 or so laps. And Cole Custer got the win. Again, it's good to see him finally, fast, regardless if that's how it ended. He did, get the pole. He did win stage one. And he has looked a lot better recently since the much slower start than I thought he was going to have. John Hunter Nemechek second, didn't surprise me. Justin Allgaier third, didn't surprise me. Brett Moffitt fourth, also didn't surprise me. Austin Hill fifth, Sammy Smith sixth, Daniel Hemrick got a seventh. He needed it. He's had, just a rough go of it since going to college. Chandler Smith eighth, Parker Kligerman ninth, and Kaz Gralla running out the top 10, which is great to see. Justin Marks was in the race in the college 10, but it blew up on like lap 4, which was a damn shame to see him, not even get to really run, because if you've seen him road race, the guy can jump and stuff and race very well. So that sucked to see. And Andre Castro wrecked out in lap 16, and only Josh Williams was off the lead lap at down 3 laps. Only one down there. Again, minus the 2 guys that didn't finish. Then points, John Hunter Nemechek still first, Austin Hill second, Cole Custer third, and Justin Allgaier is fourth. Everyone else is way farther back. Those guys are in their own little, bubble. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about Cole. He wasn't doing terrible. He just wasn't doing what we all expected him to do. At least I did, going back down there, just because the success he had down there before and the success he had last season down there, in lesser equipment, at least we call lesser equipment, and it's good to see him doing good. John Hunter consistent, Allgaier consistent, Austin Hill started off like a house on fire, had a little, but he always seems to find a way. So really good to see that. Again, it was just really a bummer that they put all this hype into it and did all that. And, again, think if there wasn't, the lightning and all that, or, the rain, if we just had one really bad, accident, someone blows up and, large cleanup, it makes it damn near impossible to get it done. We've seen enough of those problems the last 2 years. Cup Series, Grant Park 200 started late as hell. The giant cluster truck, see what I did there, of all of them, and I'm not even referencing the weather at all. Like, I think that added an element. I think that's why people need to just shut their pie holes, really, because they're talking about, just how bad the Cup guys look. Like, they're racing on a street course with all of that, for the first time ever. It's sliding into tires. We saw people get stuck, but really, that didn't surprise me. I don't know why people were bitching about that and barking about that. I thought, that was expected. Again, first time on a street course, all the different surfaces, all the different elevations, all the different drying rates, in the rain, not in the rain, very little track time. It was guaranteed to have some kind of chaos, and somehow we made it till after the fact they said they were cutting laps off the race before we finally saw the whole track blocked off, which I honestly thought was going to happen way sooner than we saw there. And I think that the tire things, people getting stuck, and they're going in there way too hard. We saw Kyle Busch do it, a bunch of them. Yeah, I just think because they were so full of water, the tires, that extra weight, so people got stuck there, especially when they're whoever it was on Truex maybe at the end when he was on slicks. I don't think it was him. Might have been him. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's what got him stuck, just because it was wet there. But yeah, I think that added a big thing into that. But I mean, you're not going to know how hard you can go into a turn on wet weather tires on a street course until you do it. I mean, look what happened at the Roval. Everyone went down into that turn and just drove on into that turn. And they didn't make it through that one year, like anyone. And, these things do happen. And, I thought it was better than it was. Denny looked good, got the pole. So history for him. I'm really freaked out how much I agree with him anymore, but that's another story for another day. Christopher Bell looked fantastic, but won both, first, second stage. Didn't surprise me. Look what he did at the Roval last year. Won and advanced to the next round. And he's talented on these things. It's just in the Cup Series we talk about all the time. Larson, Elliott. He's just not, AJ. There he goes, another example. Like Michael McDowell, they talk a lot about him. He's just not one of the guys that's on the list. Really good, road racers, just because, all their stats, but he's really a fantastic one. And it didn't surprise me that he did, really good there. He should have. He has the talent and the ability. And it's about time, he's been here long enough now that he needs to figure it out. And he needs to be up there all the time because the talent and the car that he is in and the, whole entire Toyota thing looks a lot better. And it's way better than it was, a lot of last year, and way better on the road courses than it ever could have been last year. So now that everything's working, it's good to see him up there. But again, started late, no lights, and they changed the distance, from the 100 laps down to 75, which I don't understand why they didn't just get to a point and say it was too dark and call it. Granted, this gave them a lap, so they didn't have to do it objectively. But, just seeing them do that sucked because, again, a little bit of a delay. If they didn't schedule it for so late, yes, I know they wouldn't have got it done before any devil's advocate stupid comes out here. Obviously, I get that. The rain made it not, but who the hell scheduled it? What all it would take, you schedule a regular 5:30 start time, whatever it was. Like all it takes again is one big stupid thing or two, or just a bunch of cautions, and you weren't getting it in regardless of the rain, which is my biggest issue with the whole entire damn thing. I'll get to it. Chaos though. Once they said they were changing it, LaJoy ran over Harvick. The track got completely blocked at one point when Byron got into stuff. Insane. Shout out to Austin Dillon trying to get the lead. Took himself out doing it, but way improved. I always say he's more talented than his brother. It told that I'm kind of mean to him, but what has Ty ever done to not make me just call him out for what he doesn't accomplish, and he keeps getting rides? But shout out to Austin Dillon because he was up there. Ran into the wall, broke the suspension trying to chase down the lead, and that's not a name that I tend to think about when we're talking about that. So that was really cool to see, though, him up there. He has improved. Is he the greatest? No, but compared to where he was at one point, he has looked better, just like Chris Buescher. Again, if Austin Dillon didn't have his problem, would Chris Buescher gotten another top 10, to road course in a row? We'll never know, but they got him it. And then anyone picking on SVG, I mean, he drove from 20th to the lead. What the hell else do you want from him? He passed those two guys in one lap until the caution came out. He gave it right back, and he went out there and did it. And a restart, and he held on. And people just talking so much trash about the cars that are actually, you know, similar, in a lot of ways. So, that helped, and the street courses and being used to running all that different stuff and weather. And he had a lot of advantages because he does all this stuff all the time that, the Cup guys don't ever really, get to do. So I don't understand where all the, complaining is and the name calling and everything. And again, he also, people making comparisons to Kimi Räikkönen, like a supercar that he races in compared to an F1 car. You tell me which one you think is fucking closer. Pardon my French, but which one do you think is anywhere near racing the same, running the same, anything the same? Like that sums it up right there. Like, go from an F1 car to a stock car, supercar to stock car. They're at least close, and it's just driving my head up the wall listening to people complain all week. Even though a lot of people on Jeff Gluck's poll seem to, like it on Twitter, a lot of ups and downs in the polls, but it was really good. But result, we got to see Shane Van Gisbergen at first, Justin Haley second. He can run on road courses. That was good to see. Chase Elliott third, Kyle Larson fourth. Kyle Busch, Rowdy finished fifth, got a top five after the way the day started going into the tires. So that was cool. Cindric sixth. He needs more of those. This is the kind of stuff I expect him to be good at because the kid can road race. He had lots of experience doing that. McDowell seventh, Joey Logano eighth. Ty Gibbs got another, top 10, got a ninth, and Chris Busch rounded out the top 10. And when it comes to DNFs, Ty Dillon was in 35th for suspension. Austin Dillon and Bowman were both out with accidents, and only Martin Truex, who had all kinds of problems at the end. Ryan Blaney and Stenhouse ended up down laps and leaving the race. William Byron in the points lead, Martin Truex Jr. second, Kyle Busch third, Ross Chastain fourth, and Kyle Larson rounds out the top five. And they ended up running 78 total laps for the overtime. Again, everyone, I'm going to keep saying, obviously, the rain, but, when you're there and you don't have lights, who the hell's like 90-second laps? Who's scheduling that to start at 5:30? That takes that, and you're not going to be able to get it in. Like, whoever's making those decisions needs to be, fired. Whoever's making comparisons, with Kimi Räikkönen and SVG's, comparison between the cars and the experience level and all that, you need to go away. But, minus the weather, the city calling it standing water, whoever scheduled it, like I thought they actually did produce on the track, which is, the important thing. I can't say that they didn't. And I can't say that the racing wasn't good. I thought it was very good. I thought they put on, a hell of a show in the little bit of time they got to see. And everyone said, oh, they're sliding all over the place. Yeah, again, first ever street course, wet. How often do you see them racing in the rain? Yeah, new track, different surfaces, different, dry, different conditions of dampness on the track and wetness all over the place. Like, and they're trying to figure it out. And one way you're going to figure it out, and that's people, overstepping it. And they did. So, like, if you're calling it out for that, shut up, because it's really just a dumb argument, and we'll see if it holds up, because new mayor said that he would have got rid of the deal if he could. They still have 2 more years, so we'll see what happens. But I thought it worked. But let me know what you think in the comments somewhere, or find the Anchor link, Spotify for podcasters, listen to it on there, leave a voice message. So that's where I'm going to leave it, because I don't want to start cussing. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow Racing Rosinski on Twitter, Racing with Jesse Rosinski everywhere else. Follow the Substack at the same name. Share the hell out of everything. Check out the socials for the links for the sponsors. Until we meet again, my friends, I appreciate y'all. Peace. Bye.